California is looking to push electromods. Mini is really trying to save the manual transmission in an educational way. Layoffs have unfortunately hit the automotive industry, and is there still gas in the tank for ICE engines? I'm Sean, and this is State of the Shift. Hello, everyone. My name is Sean, and this is State of the Shift. First off, I'd like to get into the story coming out of the state of California. Recently, it looks like within the state's House, a Senate bill called Senate Bill 301 has been introduced, and it's seeking to provide some sort of tax incentive up to $2,000 for vehicle owners who are willing to convert their vehicles to electric power. This is a push to have classic car owners convert their ICE engine vehicles to EVs. And converting the gas to electric power vehicles will be a costly measure, at least, they're saying possibly $14,000, though it could cost more. And it looks like this bill will have other caveats, and it won't help with, a major factor of maybe requiring a donor vehicle for this process. Personally, I don't see this having any real impact, especially with the classic car community, but knowing the direction that California is going, I could see this becoming a mandatory, piece of legislation in the future somehow. One thing that could happen, you could see an exodus of car owners moving their vehicles out of California and storing them in neighboring states, maybe trying to see if they can do the Montana LLC registration, or just, storing them in car vaults elsewhere. It'll be interesting to see what happens, and we'll see if this gains any traction. However, I don't think this will really be welcomed amongst the classic car community. And next up, this is a really interesting one. Mini is looking to save the manual transmission, and it's really great to see, because at a time when many automakers are removing the option of the manual gearbox from their car, Mini is aiming to add more manual transmissions for their cars for the United States market. They have also opened a manual transmission driving school to encourage the next generation of drivers to learn the art of stick shift. And this is a great effort, and I encourage people who don't know how to drive stick to really learn, and this seems like a great way to learn. As of February 8th, registration was open, and the course was expected to be priced around $500. It's a great, idea, and I hope it works, and I hope that people will be encouraged to try it, because it's, a controlled environment to learn how to drive stick is much better than how most people learn. I felt like I was thrown into a car and, said have at it, with some lessons from friends and family. But this, I think, is really great, and I hope it takes off, and I hope a lot of people sign up and take Mini up on this offering. So learn the foundations and have fun while driving. Next up, this is actually a sadder story, but it looks like layoffs have hit the automotive industry, and it's not just small automakers. Major automakers, too, have had some cutbacks. First, though, it looks like Rivian has had a major cutback in the last few weeks, and it was announced a couple weeks ago that 6% of their workforce has been cut to conserve cash as it braces for possible industry-wide downturns. And in their case, they're struggling to get their manufacturing up and hit their overall yearly goals for production and vehicle deliveries. It's unfortunate because they have a lot of promise. Their Rivian R1T truck is pretty impressive, and the R1S has also been getting some impressive reviews too. And they've got their promised delivery-focused vehicle for Amazon. But if they can't get their manufacturing going, they're going to be in trouble. And on the larger automaker side, Ford recently announced that they're going to be laying off over 3,000 workers. Right now, it's mainly focused in Europe, but we could see more layoffs here in the United States and possibly in other parts of the world, especially as Ford's in an interesting predicament where they really are trying to shift towards EVs. However, given global supply chains and other issues, they're still needing to produce their gas vehicles, especially for their pickup trucks. And while they do have electric F-150s and hybrid F-150s, at this time the majority of the vehicles sold are still traditional gas ICE engine trucks and SUVs. So it will be interesting to see how Ford, moves past this turbulent time, I have a feeling that it will get rougher before it gets better for them, and I have a feeling we're going to see some other layoffs throughout the industry too. But we'll have to just wait and see and hope for the best from them. And finally, it looks like we've got a really, interesting, love and recognition for the classic internal combustion engine. In the past 2 weeks, I've come across multiple articles that have actually been talking about the issues with EVs that a lot of people inherently know but conveniently like to look the other way on. On AutoTrader, which I frequently go on just to look at cars that I hope to buy in the near future, I've been getting this pop-up article about 5 reasons why gas powers are still the best vehicles in 2023. And the 5 reasons were solid in terms of the availability of gas stations and the time to fuel up versus the time to charge. And also they even talked about some of the environmental concerns and the questions we have about how the long-term effects will be. So it'll be interesting to see, if more articles like this come about. The other article that I saw, it was from CBS, and it actually really talked about the cost of electric vehicles, and especially during the colder months, charging a vehicle is very expensive, and there have been news reports pointing to certain EVs not being very cost efficient, specifically the new GMC Hummer, and just with the rising costs for electricity, the changes in charge times, such as many energy companies will talk about peak charge times, these have been concerns, and a lot of people are beginning to wonder about the cost advantages of EVs. Now, generally, EVs are more cost effective. There's no question about that, but I think people are beginning to realize they're not as, affordable as they previously thought. And especially too, when you compare the MSRP of a full electric vehicle versus its gas counterpart. One example that's actually very good, the Ford F-150, where there is a traditional gasoline, traditional, full electric, and a hybrid. The full electric F-150 is much more expensive than the, traditional gas. And, that MSRP price, that is restricted for a lot of buyers right now. Now, there will be cost parity eventually, so we'll just have to see how things go and how charging times, as they speed up, how those, will appeal to customers. But it's interesting to see that people are still willing to say that gasoline engines, the good old-fashioned internal combustion engine, still has a place in today's world. Well, that's actually all the news that I have for today. I'm Sean. This is the State of the Shift. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time.